what it was. Y'all know who it is. And y'all tuned in with Priceless Knowledge of Self. And this right here, this ain't nothing but some cosmic insight. And hey, before we get started, I'm going to remind y'all the deal I have going on right now, because for a limited time only, I'm offering $50 audio natal chart interpretations. And what does that consist of? That consists of an hour and a half to 2 hour recording of me breaking down your chart. I'm going to go in. I'm going to talk about all the major planetary placements, especially the ones in traditional astrology. We're going to talk about the growth aspects. We'll talk about the declinations. We'll cover all the aspects that are worth noting, period. We'll talk about the ascendant, the midheaven. We'll talk about the elements, the modalities. We'll talk about the things that are most dominant in your chart, the most persistent difficulties I see going on in your chart. We'll talk about the karmic direction, which consists of Rahu and Ketu, or the north and the south node. We'll go all the way in. Okay. And, you can't beat that, because on top of that, I'm also going to make sure that you get a 30 to 40 page PDF that gives you tangible proof of your experience. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna go all the way in. And if you think that's a lot of money, you're tripping, man. And I'm telling y'all now, I need y'all to mess with me, man. I'm offering this deal because I need some business. Not that I'm not having business, but I need more. I ran into a financial emergency that is going to knock me off my feet. If I don't get some more business, if I don't make some more money, I won't be able to do this anymore. That's just period, man. And maybe y'all don't value that, but I love being able to do this. And this feels like this is my calling. So if you fuck with me at all, if you ain't got a reading from me already, come get a reading from me. If you don't want to get a reading, man, just donate to the channel. Matter of fact, if you fooled me at all, donate to the channel anyway. Okay. The link is in the description, man. Show me some love, man. I'm in a tight spot, man. I feel like y'all are my family, but even if y'all aren't my family, like I always tell you, it's about my network. If y'all are my network, support me. See, that's kind of interesting because that's relevant to what we're speaking about here today. That's because this right here, this a little something about those people that have Mars in the 11th house of their natal chart. And that's relevant because the 11th house, the network in the 11th house supports the 10th house. And I need that in my life. And before we even go there talking about Mars in the 11th, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to tell you a little bit about Mars. I'm going to give y'all a little quick breakdown of the energy that comes along with it and how it might affect you. Then we'll talk a little bit about what the 11th house of the astrological chart is all about. Then after that, we're going to bring it to a culmination, which fortunately for you, I'm one of the coldest closers in the game. So without wasting any more of anyone else's time, let's get it cracking. So Mars, this is the fourth planet from the sun, and it rules the first house of the astrological chart in the sign of Aries, and to a lesser degree, and if you ask more traditional astrologers, they'll also say it rules the 8th house in the sign of Scorpio, okay, along with Pluto. And Mars most definitely comes into our chart and calls us to action, man. And that's because it represents passion, energy, drive, as well as our inherent sense of determination. And it really commands us to stand up, be noticed, and get some shit done, because sitting on the sidelines, nah. That belongs somewhere else in the zodiac, man. This ain't that wallflower shit, man. And Mars also rules over the military, but more simply put, it speaks to the power and confident expression of each one of us individually. Ambition, competition, these both fall under Mars' umbrella as well. And it can also represent our stamina, because whether it be at work or at play, Mars wants us to be at our best when facing challenges. Pardon me, there's a fly in there, y'all. And that's also because Mars is confrontational. And in the birth chart, it could represent our sense of aggression. And it can also represent our sense of addressing aggression when aggression is brought our direction. Okay? Try that on for a tongue twister. And hey, man, it can also be a big indicator of sex drive, especially in men. But whether we're talking about men or women or masculine or feminine energy, it really speaks to how people like to move. This is your preferred method of action. This is how you get down. It also could speak to how you like to be handled in some cases. Okay. So that's something to think about. And wherever Mars shows up in the chart, it really speaks to how we assert ourselves physically and how we channel our aggression in this life right here. All right. And so the 11th house. The 11th house is ruled by the sign of Aquarius and the planets of Uranus and Saturn to a lesser degree. And it's here that we kind of find our goals and our objectives, any friendships that we have, any memberships or associations to any groups that we're a part of. The work in society is kind of represented in the 10th, and it's released to the unique individual doing the activities and exhibiting the energies by whatever planets show up in the 11th house. Okay. The 11th house also speaks to our gains. This is the money that we're making from the 10th house. Okay. Now, the second house shows the money that we have. This is what we're keeping. Okay. And that could come from anywhere. But the money from the 11th house, this directly speaks to the money we're making. It's called a succeeding house. The energy in the 11th house, it supports the 10th house and vice versa. Okay. Just think about it like that. This is our groups. This is our friendships. Okay. This has a lot of Uranus energy. So there's going to be some brilliance in there. This is networking. Okay. And, what else did I just say, man? This is our hopes, dreams, objectives. Okay. So when we're taking Mars and we're putting Mars in the 11th house, well, before I go any further, because this might throw you off a little bit, I want you to first understand that, this is actually one of the best places to have Mars in the natal chart for the simple fact that the 11th house, it represents our hopes, our wishes, and our dreams in astrology. Okay. Or the dreams is the dreams is the 12th house. So let me go back and backtrack. The 11th house represents our hopes, our wishes. Okay. And, Mars, this represents our passion, our drive, and inherent sense of determination. So what this says to me more than anything else is that the people with this placement, they really have the inner drive to go after whatever the fuck they want in life, man. So, hey, this is another prime example of an unstoppable force, because these folks right here, they put a tremendous amount of effort into achieving their goals and manifesting their ideas. I mean, real spit, man, this is motivation. I ain't T.I. either. And, hey, man, these individuals with this placement, they usually ascend to great heights in life because they're willing to do whatever it takes to make shit happen for themselves and the people that they associate themselves with. Okay. And, they ain't scared of a little competition either. No, man. They about that, man. Matter of fact, they welcome that. They all about competition. And they're always willing to fight for their cause, man. And, I will say, man, how they go about fighting for their cause, that'll depend a lot more on their Mars sign, though. So you're going to have to look at that. And I'll also say that, hey, Mars here is keenly focused on financial gains. Best believe, because the 11th house shows everything that comes into our life, including any material gains and financial gains that we may acquire. Because, this right here is how the universe supports us. And so having Mars here, hey, it really helps the folks with this placement. I mean it, man. It helps them make the most out of whatever the fuck that they have in life. And that's a beautiful thing. Plus, this one right here also points to an above average earning potential because you're taking the planet of energy and you're placing it in the house of gains. So, energizing that shit. So, hey, man, financial ambitions, they're pretty much inevitable here, man. But let's make sure that we don't become so focused on that it ends up becoming a source of conflict in our lives. Because I don't think people understand how much money represents freedom to these people right here. And freedom is going to be something that's always worth fighting for them, man. Whether it be their own or somebody else's, okay? Which that also brings me to the fact that these folks right here, they were born to be team players. They really were, man. So they do their best shit when they're fucking with like-minded individuals because, that also puts them in touch with a lot of contacts and it puts them in touch with a lot of connections that probably ends up further helping energize those gains. So, hey, that's a beautiful thing, man. And shit, socializing and networking, that's going to be everything to an 11th house Mars motherfucker, man. And it goes without saying that being around and working with people is going to be beneficial to their career. It's also going to, especially help them when they kind of can form a coalition of people that's working in the same field because, the matters of a succeeding house right here, the 11th, they support the little areas of the preceding angular house, which is the 10th right here. Okay. So with that in mind, they're always going to be the type of person when they're at an event, man, who initiates the conversations. Okay. This is an initiator because they prefer an active approach to making friends. That's what this is going to speak to a lot of times too, man, because they kind of instinctively just know how to capitalize on the power of knowing people, which, that's a superpower in itself when you know how to do that, when you got them capital connections. You feel me? And, I do want to say that we do have to make sure that we ain't being too aggressive or gung-ho, because this same place of empowerment right here, that can also be a major source of conflict and confrontation due to that tendency right here to want to be bossy and want to argue all the motherfucking time and compete with the motherfuckers that are on your own team. So let's work on that if we can, okay? That's just something that you got to temper in there. Look, man, look. The position of Mars in our chart, it shows where we spend the most energy in life. And with the case of Mars in the 11th, it means that these people right here, their energy is focused on their social network and their circle of friends. So, they really make the best event organizers that you can find, because participating in group activities and, things like that, it makes them feel energized, which helps them achieve the goals that they set in life through the acquaintances that they make. But I will say this too, though. If Mars is afflicted or harshly aspected here at all, man, their friends could also be a danger to them with this case. So, hey, that's definitely worth the gander. And even if it don't play out like that, just because you built like that, you don't have to build like that. And what I mean is that we all have all this energy available to us. What you do with it is what you do with it. And even beyond that, it ain't about what you do. It's about how you do it. And that's some priceless knowledge in itself. And there's been some priceless knowledge of self. If you made it this far, you should have hit the like button. If you don't fuck with me, hit the dislike button. That means you're a hater. And I understand that. But give me some type of interaction. Drop a comment. Tell me how you feel, man. If y'all are interested in any of the deals I offered earlier, okay? Because I'm not going to just offer the natal chart interpretations for $50. I'm also offering numerology readings, for $40 a piece, man. And that'll be about an hour long of me breaking down your personal numbers and the energy that comes along with that in your life, which is extremely interesting. And that's also a well thought up tool when you mix that with your astrology. Okay. I also will offer right now $60 synastry readings, which, hey man, that's a beautiful thing right there too, man. And all of this is significantly cheaper than what I'm usually charging. And people pay that regularly, and they're still going to pay that. Okay. Right now, I need some money. Right now, I need some love, man, because, this is getting rough, man. I can't believe I put myself in the position I put myself in, and I'm disappointed in myself, but only I can get myself out of it. And how I'm doing that is trying to do it by working. If y'all want to donate. If not, put me to work. Hey, man, y'all keep it trill, man. I love y'all. If y'all are interested in merch, y'all can do the same thing. I appreciate everything.